How about you, everybody? Welcome into the Wednesday edition of Inside the 20 with myself and Keith Niebuhr. We will do our absolute best to bring you as much recruiting intel as we can inside the 20-minute mark. I am your host, Jeffrey Lee, Senior Recruiting Editor for Auburn Live on 3. If you're not a member of that site, dude, wow. You're not as informed as you need to be. Everybody at our site is absolutely informed. Auburn Live on 3, $25 right now will get you to next football season. It's an absolute steal. Joined as I always am, Mr. Keith Niebuhr. Keith, get out of that parking garage, big dog.
Yeah, man. Well, this is our segue, right?
Oh.
We're not exactly great segue artists here, okay? So that's a Bronco, lightly used. Mine, just bought it a few months ago, and that will transition us into
He bought it from
this beautiful ad that you're going to read, yes.
He bought it from the Auburn man himself, Mr. Caleb Schofield. They're at Mike Patton Auto in LaGrange, Georgia. Keith didn't go to LaGrange, Georgia. He ordered the car, had it delivered to him. Fantastic transaction. Caleb and Mike Patton Auto in LaGrange, Georgia has new Ford, Lincoln, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, Ram, and even Hondas. Absolute fantastic used car lot as well. All used cars pass multi-point inspections before they even think about selling them to guys like Keith. They back those cars with free 3-month, 3-mile warranties. The new cars come even more assured. Insured? New vehicles come with a free lifetime powertrain warranty, unlimited time, unlimited mileage. And listen, he's still got the special going on for the F-150s, folks, through the end of the month. Invoice price only. Absolute craziness. And then listen to this. I didn't know about this. Caleb's got an all-electric Mustang Mach-E. All-electric. There's only like a handful of them in the entire country. He has one. Give him a call, 334-531-0996. Get this holiday stuff going. Beat Black Friday. Get Caleb, get that special someone a new car. And if you're not in the market for a new car, send them to Caleb. He'll give you $300 for sending him somebody. 334-531-0996. Caleb Schofield there at Mike Patton Auto in LaGrange, Georgia. Keith, not a lot of recruiting going on because we're in the midst, we think, of the home stretch of a coaching search. We've been talking Lane Kiffin. We still will be talking Lane Kiffin. But in the midst of all of this, there's a football game to be played. It's going to be played down in West Alabama. There is the Iron Bowl. You ever heard of it?
Yeah, wait, is my camera not coming in?
You like have portrait mode on.
Let's figure out what's
from your OnlyFans last night.
I'll talk while I'm getting that settled. But no, it is a big game, and here's why: the baton handoff between the current staff at Auburn and the new staff, and some of those guys on the current staff will be on the new staff. We presume, we think, we hope, because it's a life-altering move for a lot of these guys if they're not retained. But that's going to happen. The baton handoff is about to happen. So you're recruiting until the very end. And at the Iron Bowl, there's going to be a bunch of Auburn targets there. We're going to have more on that today. But you want people to see that fight, that spirit that you've shown the last 3 weeks, right? And if you can go into Tuscaloosa as a team and play fairly well, maybe win, it's a hard place to win. That's a big ask. This is a team that's got 5 wins versus a team that Alabama's probably hasn't been this vulnerable in a while, but it's still at home. And now the one thing that you really had at your advantage might be gone. And that's all of a sudden with all those losses last week, Jeffrey, Alabama's right back. They got that little window to get into that national championship hunt, to get into that playoff.
Alabama's ranked like a high 4-star, and they're on that verge of getting that 5-star bump, right?
They've got that ability now to maybe slide right in there. But anyway, Auburn's got a lot to play for too. They know that this may very well be the last game. We'll see. Auburn could still get in a bowl game, but it could be the last game with Cadillac Williams as their coach. They love this guy. They played so hard for him, so passionately for him, and they've created an identity. They're a running team. That's what they are.
Right.
For
the first time, we kind of have a –
yeah. And good running game, good defense, and let's see what they can do Saturday. There's going to be a lot of kids, like we said. Ruben Bain, 4-star edge from Miami. He's been to Auburn twice this fall. He's going to be there. James Smith and Quay Russo, the two 5-star defensive linemen / edge guys from, one's a D lineman, Smith, one's an edge. Russo from Montgomery Carver, they're probably going to be there. So you can
Tyler Scott.
Yes, you can still show these guys what you got, right? Where their heart's going to be, in which direction are their hearts going to be tugging them, pulling them on Saturday. So there is stuff to play for. There is, and it's not just an Iron Bowl. It's a unique Iron Bowl, to say the least, because Auburn's bottomed out. Auburn bottomed out a few weeks back, Jeffrey. Now Auburn seems to be rising, we think. And
trajectory definitely has changed.
Yes, it has. And so what can you show the recruits? And so that's the big thing. And there's a lot of good Auburn-Alabama recruiting battles in this cycle. Believe it or not, there are. Auburn has battled on the recruiting trail. They're going to be tough gets, make no mistake.
Right.
And they haven't had much success against the Tide lately. But they've got a shot, especially with a guy like Reuben Bain, Jeffrey.
Hey, well, we talked about this, I think, earlier this week, Keith. Maybe it was on the Inside the 20 Monday edition. But if a head coach is named in the next, 4 days, and we certainly expect it to happen, do these assistant coaches, or at least most of them, stay on through early signing day? And you said, Keith, you thought so.
Well, here's the thing. Okay, so first of all, normally the day after the Iron Bowl, you can go out on the road and recruit. But this year, it's the next week. Okay, so this whole week it's the timing actually couldn't be better.
Right.
Because if they had to go out on the road as a head coach, you have to make some quick decisions, right? Send guys out on the road that maybe you don't want out on the road. We like these guys, but the new head coach is going to want his own blood in there, his own juice. So did I say juice? So many slips lately. But seriously, but with this period, if Auburn has a head coach in place by Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or even next Monday, they'll have that whole week to all get together and formulate a plan. But so normally you can't just, here's the thing, you can't get all your guys in a week or 2 weeks because they're other schools. They're
bowl games.
They're fulfilling their obligations. That's right, to those programs to recruit through the whistle, okay, through the end of their contracts, or a bowl game, or a championship playoff.
Right. That's
Also, you say, okay, well, what if you don't want these guys anyway? Well, do you want to have to recruit as many guys as Auburn has to recruit with 4 guys, with 4 staffers? I mean, Jeffrey, they've got 11 commitments and about 34 spots, including the portal, to fill. You start firing people left and right. And again, the new head coach is going to do what they want to do. But it stands to reason you wouldn't just start letting people go left and right. Now, there's going to be some where you're going to say, I don't have a need for this person at this time. But how many would you cut loose? You've got there's a lot to be done over the next few weeks, right? So I think at least through the first signing day, we'll be proven wrong here, Jeffrey. But it stands to reason that you would keep at least some of these people. You know what I mean? Probably a good bit of them. Quite frankly. I was looking at dead period. Let's see. I can't see without my glasses on. I'm so old. Not yet. Not really. I'm old. I'm not so old. So November, you've got eval period starting Sunday, right? No, contact period. I'm sorry. Contact period starting Sunday. You can't go out on the road, I think, till I want to say December 2nd or 3rd. So they can't go out on the road for a few more days. It used to be that the Sunday after the Iron Bowl, Jeffrey, you and I would go sit over at the athletic complex and interview all the recruits that would visit that weekend. Right. And we'd see the coaches mid-afternoon, early afternoon, in fact, headed out. And with their travel bags and their rack of Auburn shirts and jackets, and they'd be getting ready to go on the road for weeks at a time, or at least 5 or 6 days, and then come back for that first official visit weekend. So remember now, next weekend, not this weekend, not this coming weekend after Thanksgiving, but the following weekend, Auburn can have visitors on campus. And so you're going to see some official visits starting to happen that weekend, including Brenton Williams, the local product of the 3-star edge from Opelika, says that's when he's going to officially visit. Now, again, a new head coach with a new GM, let's say, or a new head of recruiting, or we don't know which direction they're going to go in, but a new head coach may have some different ideas. But the plan is to have official visitors next weekend as of right now. But again, new head coach comes in, let's say they name him Friday, Saturday, Sunday. He comes in, probably brings some off-the-field people with him. It's easier to get them. They don't have to coach in bowl games. They're off-the-field people. right? Probably comes in with a few of those guys, meets with the current people at Auburn, says, all right, let's formulate a plan. What they've already done a new coach, Jeffrey, and this is what people should know. Him and his people around him almost certainly have done a thorough, I don't know, what's the word I'm looking for? Not autopsy, a thorough examination of the roster, right? They're not going to come in blind. When you hired Brian Harsin, that all happened in about 24 hours, and it was already after the first signing period. They hadn't really had time to do a thorough evaluation of the roster and what its biggest needs were. This is a little bit different. This job's been open for almost a month now, right?
Yeah.
So the people they've interviewed, it stands to reason, have done their homework. So they're going to get to Auburn, and they're going to meet with the people that are still there, bring in their people that they already have that can come right away, and they're going to decide, okay, what are the biggest needs? Who are the biggest targets? Who are the flip candidates? Are there any people at my current school, if it's a head coach at another school? Are there any people on that list that we should go after as a program? And then meanwhile, the portal opens, December 4th, I want to say, Jeffrey?
That's a Sunday.
Correct. So there's going to be a lot of work ahead. Let's put it that way.
So
a lot of work ahead, a lot of new names. Don't be surprised if it is a guy like Lane Kiffin. Don't be surprised if some commitments to his school end up officially visiting Auburn. It's going to be wild. Okay.
I think I did the numbers last week in the war room, and there were 52 guys who had already visited Auburn. So all of those cats can come back. You've got 24 open spots remaining, so 24 new guys can come back. So there's around 70 official visits left for Auburn if they want them. And everybody that I've talked to last week after the game, all the recruits that have already officially visited, plan to come back before that early signing period, December 21st, and for another official visit.
And they got to save some for January. You've got to save some, but they'll be fine there. Look, there may be recruits that say, I've already been to Auburn. I like this new head coach. He was recruiting me before. I'm good on an official visit. That's where I want to be. There may be some of those too. I mean, we see it all the time. Portal kids commit without even visiting a school. They're just looking for the right fit a lot of the times.
Contact period is when we're going to start seeing some in-person, in-home visits, right?
Well, what day does that start?
It says November 27th, which is Sunday.
Yeah, I don't think that's I think they can't go out on the road. I think I read the other day they can't go out on the road for the next week. But
till the 4th?
I believe so. No,
that would make sense because the next week is going to be championship week, right?
Yeah. I think it's next Friday, but
I believe you're right, Keith.
Yeah.
I believe the SEC championship, all the conference championships will be December the 3rd.
Yeah.
Portal opens the 4th, as does in-home visits.
Yeah.
I believe you're right. I don't know if it's the Friday or what, but I do believe that.
Yeah, we'll get some clarification on that.
So then you've got 2 weeks to get as many in-home visits as possible. That's going to be during the week because you're going to have to be back on campus for most of the weekend for all these official visitors. Man, it is going to be chaotic the first 3 weeks of December. Chaotic.
Yeah, I'm going to let you talk for a second while I'm looking something up, Jeffrey.
Okay, you look that up because I'm looking at the calendar. I've got contact period starting the 27th, but that doesn't necessarily mean coaches can go on the road. That just means kids can visit. And let's see, that's going to be next. This is going to be this coming Sunday when contact period begins. Right now, the eval. So the eval period ends this week, the 26th, and then the contact period begins Sunday.
I think we're in a dead period until December 2nd.
Man, what is this? Auburn is in the Division I football bowl subdivision, right?
Yes. Yes, but
okay.
I believe that it used to be able to. They used to be able to go out on the road this Sunday, but this year the dead period is until December 2nd. But that's the last I've been told. So,
man, this calendar's been good to me. But and it does say.
Why don't I talk for a second? You text somebody. I can go over some recruiting stuff here. You want me to do that?
Yeah, man. What do you want me to ask? When can coaches go back on the road visiting?
Yeah, correct. So let's talk about some Iron Bowl recruiting battles that we're keeping an eye on right now. We talked about James Smith and Quay Russaw. We think Alabama's probably the team to beat with Auburn next there. They both visited. These are the 2 5-star defensive linemen from Montgomery Carver. They both attended multiple games at Auburn this season, though. So Auburn squarely in the hunt. We think Florida probably running third, maybe even a distant third. Reuben Bain is another big Auburn-Alabama battle, with Miami also very much in the picture. Again, we're trying to figure out how that's possible. His former coach
You would think they would put that in every story about him.
It's amazing, but his former coach in Miami Central is now an off-the-field staffer at the University of Miami. Technically, you're not supposed to be able to follow an off-the-field staffer, but we don't know what's going on. Maybe there's going to be a change in the rules. Miami's continuing to recruit Reuben Bain, but we think Auburn's squarely in the mix. In fact, there's a level of optimism at Auburn that they might be able to pull this off. His cousin, Kewan Jenkins, a quarterback from Miami Central, committed to Auburn last weekend. Tyler Scott is a 3-star defensive back with a 5-star offer list. He's already officially visited. He's from Georgia, by the way. Already officially visited Auburn. He took an unofficial to Michigan last weekend. That was 2 days. That went well. He's going to officially visit, I want to say, Alabama, Southern Cal, and Texas. So a lot of the big boys are involved there. But, Auburn got in on him early when he was committed to Arkansas State. Zach Etheridge, the defensive backs coach, has done a masterful job. They're keeping Auburn in the game. Okay, that's significant. So Auburn's still got a shot. I should point out Tennessee's also very much in that one too. So probably a 16 race. I think his head's spinning a little bit, Jeffrey. I mean, he wasn't expecting when he was committed to Arkansas State that he'd have 6 of the historic top 15, top 20 programs, after him. So that's an interesting one to watch. Then you got Tony Mitchell. He's attended Alabama defensive back commit, 4 stars for us, 5 stars for others. Attended 4 Auburn home games this season. He's going to be at Alabama this weekend, and I believe it's his official visit weekend. He said a lot of the right things after his Auburn visits, but in an interview this week with our Alabama writer, Joseph Hastings, I think it was with Chad Simmons, our national reporter. Yeah. He said, look, I'm still solid. I still intend to be at Bama. So we'll see. I mean, that's what you'd expect a guy to say.
Sure.
People say that all the time and end up committing to other schools. People say they're sticking with their programs that they're at as the head coach and leave all the time too. So that's just what are you supposed to say? So those are some of the big ones to watch. But out of that group that we're seeing some Auburn-Alabama battles.
You were right.
Okay, we're right on the visits.
December 2nd, Coach's Friday. It's a Friday.
You had me scared to death. I'd been giving out bad information. But, Jeffrey, out of the Auburn-Alabama recruiting battles this cycle, we think Reuben Bain is the guy Auburn has the best shot with probably.
Yes.
Right? And then after him, I would think Tyler Scott.
I do too.
James Smith and Quay Russaw, they've been great. They give us interviews all the time. We send Cole Pinkston over to school. These are 2 great first-class young dudes that have been
really are
to us. Okay?
For 5-star guys, they're very good.
I mean, here's the thing. They have been – we see this a lot. They treat reporters great, okay? But they don't seek attention. The kids that seek attention, that do all the interviews – that make sure they don't always pan out. They're loving the recruiting part too much. These guys, they don't necessarily love that part, but they're so respectful of us and our jobs. And I credit the people around them, their head coach over at Carver, and also the people at Madhouse. But anyway, look, we've seen this movie, Jeff. We say it all the time. Alabama needs 2 in-state guys, 2 big 5 stars. It's hard to pull them away. Now, but is NIL the big game changer here?
Maybe. We're about to find out.
That's right. We're about to find out. And Auburn's going to have a new head coach. And, if you're looking at a recruit, that's why if Auburn can play well this weekend and you're looking at the trajectory of the 2 programs, well, Alabama, I mean, they've been flat for a while, but flat in a good way. They've been at the top for a decade, okay?
Yeah.
It's absolutely stunning and remarkable what they've been able to accomplish.
Status quo.
Yeah. But can they keep it up forever? Well, history tells us no program can. If any program can keep it up an extended length of, keep this run up, it's probably them. But Auburn, again, maybe some new blood, maybe this NIL situation, maybe that gives them a fighting chance. But again, we think Reuben Bain is really the guy to watch in Tyler Scott.
Reuben Bain, Auburn's got his cousin Kewan Jenkins committed. That's why, Keith, that's what I was kind of getting to early in the show. Is Rock Bellantoni going to be here December 21st?
Well, I mean, you're putting me on the spot there. I don't know. I mean, we don't know. I mean, it's –
because if he is, that's going to greatly impact my prediction of him. It's probably going to greatly – and that's why I think I said with J-Head and you guys the other night on the call-in show is I hate it for these recruits because it's almost like, let's keep Rock until we get Reuben signed and then – then we can do what we want to there, and the kid's already signed, and now one of the reasons he signed with Auburn is gone. I hate that for the kids, but these guys have to understand that these coaches shouldn't be the reason that they sign with the school, although it's really easy to say and so hard to do. So it's a lot harder to do than it is to say.
Individually, Jeffrey, when you look at Zach Etheridge, Rock Bellantoni, individually, you can make a case to keep anybody. But there's also a reason why, when a coach is let go, we always want to think, okay, he was the whole issue. It's, and that may be the case, especially in this situation. However, a new coach is always going to want his own.
Yeah, I don't blame the coach. Yeah,
it's they want their guys. Those are the guys they feel comfortable with. Those are the guys that understand. Even defensive guys. Hey, this guy understands my offensive system. If I'm an offensive guy, he knows what I like to do. He knows that he's going to have. We move down the field fast. That's going to put a lot of pressure on his defense. He's okay with that. He understands that. It's just who do you feel comfortable with? You know what I mean? We've all been started a new job where we don't know anybody there and we feel so out of sorts, right? And then you go places and more people and it's you're a little more comfortable. So you like to be in your own comfort zone, your own wheelhouse. But yeah, Rock Bellantoni is a very interesting one. Zach Etheridge and Cadillac Williams and Christian Robinson. Now we've heard if in fact it's Lane Kiffin, if in fact Lane Kiffin becomes the head coach, I think he's well aware of the situation with Cadillac Williams. So I would think that would be a guy you could see stay. Zach Etheridge, I believe Jay had told us that if my memory is correct, that Lane Kiffin, for example, tried to hire him before, so that could be good for Zach. I know that Lane and Christian Robinson know each other and apparently think highly of each other. That would certainly not hurt Christian Robinson. But first of all, we don't know for a fact that it's going to be Lane Kiffin. If it is, he just because he likes guys doesn't necessarily mean. But you're right. It is tricky because these guys, these guys are going to have to recruit, know when they're not going to be around. But they just got to be honest with.
That's right.
They just got to be honest with the kids. That's all kids ever really ask.
And all those guys that you just mentioned, man, they're really good dudes, and I think they're really honest and genuine, and they're going to be very forthcoming with these recruits.
Yeah. I would agree with
that. Be a lot to. Be a lot going on, man. You talk about those variables, Keith. Once this head coach is hired, man, there's going to be so many more variables, new guys coming. Will the commitments that are committed now be honored? Will the offers be honored? Will these guys that Auburn, Brenton Williams, the guys that we think Auburn's could get a commitment from, Colton Hood, guys like that we certainly would have in our class projections, are those offers going to be honored? It's going to be a whirlwind of questions, uncertainties, and we feel. I'm convinced, Keith. I told you guys last night on the group text. I'm convinced. I'm in. The tea leaves to me. They've circled and they're pointing and is it done? I think we both can agree. This is the last Inside the 20 we'll do without a head coach at Auburn University. Monday morning.
I think it better be.
Yeah.
Even the coaches aren't on the road next week. You need every day is so vital right now. And I think if you can name a coach on Friday, you do it.
Ooh, me too.
There had been some thought that if you name a guy, it's going to steal the thunder away from Cadillac. And
yeah, I'm done with that.
If it's who everybody thinks it's going to be, you're going to get all the attention that day as a program. All the attention. It won't matter the score of the game. You get the attention. So, and by the way, even if it's not him, even if it's Hugh Freeze and you name him Friday or Saturday, you're still going to get a lot of attention. So, yeah, I think the quicker, and we got to go in a second here, the quicker you can get this done, the quicker that guy, and believe me, whoever it is already has a few people assembled that are going to come with them immediately, okay? Right. That are going to be there within a day or two. We saw that with Brian Harsin. Darren Usher, even though he wasn't officially listed as a hiree, for several weeks, was actually at Auburn within a couple days. We're going to see a lot of that. It's going to be fast and furious, Jeffrey.
There you go. I like to say chaotic.
Chaotic. Well, organized chaos, maybe.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Organized chaos. All right, we're going to wrap it up there. I think there's been a flag thrown, but we're going to go to instant replay in a little bit and see if we were actually over the limit. We got started a little late. But before we do, remember Caleb Schofield there at Mike Patton Auto. Give him a call. He has got the all-electric. Mustang Mach-E. 334-531-0996 there. Caleb, Mike Patton Auto in LaGrange, Georgia. Keith will be back Monday with another Inside the 20 again. We'll probably be talking about the new head coach, his recruiting prowess, and some of the questions we still have today. We'll probably be asking again on Monday. We've got a modcast coming for you. We will not have the Auburn Live recruiting show this week. Thanksgiving, the logistics didn't work out for us, but we will have the modcast out Thursday, and Keith and I will be back Monday morning. And we will have the call-in show Sunday night at 6:30 p.m. Central Time. We hope to be discussing the new head coach. I'm sure you guys are as well. Thanks for everybody for listening, for supporting us. We appreciate it. Subscribe to our YouTube page. Click like and subscribe. Gosh, I can't believe I'm a YouTuber. Auburn Live on 3.
You're an influencer now.
Yeah, Mama. Is that what they're called?
Well, look.
Yeah, don't act like you don't know.
I've been, we're gonna wait until 2 or 3 months when we're asking everybody to subscribe to our TikTok page.
No.
Yeah, I want to see you breakdancing and giving recruiting updates at the same time.
Is that what they do?
Man, I'm just there to look at the girls, to be honest with you. I can't care about it. All right, I'm out of here.
All right, fellas. We appreciate it, man. For Keith, for Zach in the back, I'm Jeffrey Lee. Y'all stay out of the left lane. See ya.